clarity. Is like true love for me. So, what is true love to me? It's like in the name of the mighty God. The name of the mighty God and the holy presence. The holy presence. I'm gonna open my lips and let my words bring light. Growth is not only about learning new truth. It's also about unlearning old lies. We live in a culture obsessed with acquisitions, and we want more information, more information, more strategies, more titles, more validations. But some of the hardest, most sacred work you will ever do is not adding something new. It's releasing what no longer belongs to who you are becoming. Think about it this way. Humans spend decades collecting assumptions, and then what happens is they get packed away into some old box up in the attic, and we hold, it's all based on fear and survival and patterns and coping mechanisms. Then we act surprised when healing processes demands a total clean. And out of the mental and spiritual attic, it feels like an inconvenient design that doesn't even do it for you. You know what I mean? And what is there to say about that? I mean, did I say it too fast? The inconvenient design flaw, doesn't it? One day, you realize that the very tools you build to protect yourself are now the walls keeping you trapped. And today, I'm going deep into what is truly meant to find clarity. So, we're going to be looking into our lives and ask some hard questions 2026, because clarity isn't just an intellectual breakthrough. Clarity is life, clarity is love, clarity is spiritual activation, and that requires us to look at patterns, look at your habits, look at your beliefs, and then determine what is building your destiny, because that's what it is, and what is actively working against you. How do you know when it's time to clean your mind and your spiritual? Life is usually, it just tells us through a process called sifting through things. And when we read ancient texts, we see these patterns very clearly. So look at your own story, your job. Job was tested fiercely, and there is details that we often overlook because Satan had to ask for permission. And God set an absolute limit, because the enemy may intend harm, but the creator, the universe, uses that very hardship for a greater, unshakable purpose. It might be difficult seasons, right, that are designed to reveal what is real and what is completely empty. But think like this, we got farmers, right? And farmers have to sift through wheat. They got to shake what is meant to destroy the grain And it's meant to be separate. They need that wheat, right? To be good, all right? To remove the things. So there's genuine faith, genuine identity, and genuine strength that must survive through that sifting, that shaking, and even the smallest grain that belongs to the Almighty is ever forgotten. So let's look at reality. Look at your reality without the filters. What does a spiritual sifting actually look like in your daily life? Does it look like a sudden season of loss or renewal? Betrayal from people by people you deeply trusted, right? Perhaps chronic illnesses or the unexpected physical challenges that come about. Financial hardships that will test your security, your whole soul security. The conflict that can tear at your peace. And having false relationships completely will be exposed. So being forced to see reality exactly as it is, instead of what is desperately hoped it was to be. And then the sifting will hit, and the forces of questions that most people spend their entire life avoiding remains when the illusion is removed. The answer to any question like that is incredibly painful for many people, and a lot of people don't want to hear it, right? But I'd be wondering why. Why? Because you discover whatever you built on your whole identity and things that could be taken away. You built that worth even at the job, right? And all that network, all that social media presentation, and the relationships. And when the sifting blows those things right away, you feel destroyed. They feel destroyed, y'all, and hear me clearly, because shaking isn't destroying you. It is just destroys the illusion of who someone thought that they had to be. And sometimes we get to see a massive mistake happening everywhere right now. And frankly, we've seen enough. I've seen enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, because I live around people who believe that for them to be validated, someone else needs to be destroyed, eliminated. People are like that. And they play a game of life by a rigid, toxic script. Yeah. And I have watched even elders do it. People who went to church, go to church, they do it. Church, more than me. People who seem to have that bigger house, that perfect reputation, and that flawless exterior. Flawless. They played the game. But just because they played the game a certain way, it doesn't even mean that their path, the path that you are on is wrong. Do not let people make you feel like your growth is fragmented. Just because you don't show it off wherever you go, just to make a point. You see, real transformation to me is, it doesn't need a public relation campaign. True clarity is deeper than anything that I can even post in the video. It's found and it's quiet and it's unseen footage of my life. and the choices I make when nobody is holding a camera. I have to realize, and I had to realize, you have to realize when your own goodness has been swapped for things that don't even serve us, that don't even serve your life. If a belief has delayed your life more than it has helped your life, the decision must be made now. You cannot afford to carry old survival strategies and tactics in the old you into your future destiny. Because you will be hunted. Your memories will haunt you. That's the ghost. You cannot simply be erased by wishing them away. Okay? Changing your outfit. They must be replaced with greater actions. Not even changing your car, your job, or anything. Because higher truths and the unbreakable boundaries. Let me just share this concrete truth. Let me just share this because this is real truth right here about what happens when clarity meets reality. One of the most profound lessons I've had to learn came from my mother's final years. And that taught me the absolute sanctity of respecting boundaries, especially when someone's health and life is fragile. This is what happens everywhere with people. These are what I'm talking about as far as boundaries is concerned. This is what I even witnessed. My mother, she had a serious fragile health concern. And our family had it crystal clear, non-negotiable understanding. Anyone carrying a cold, a flu, any contagious illness, because she had breast cancer and she didn't do the reconstruction. Anything not to enter her home, period. And it wasn't a suggestion. It was a boundary of protection. That's what she said. Yet, I watched people ignore it. My mother personally expressed to me how deeply upset and violated she felt when that boundary was treated as optional. And I am not sharing this to relieve old conflict that I have. Okay? No. I don't even have to point fingers at the past. I am sharing this because this was over 25 years ago, and that taught me the universal principle, because love requires responsibility. You hear me? Sometimes the choices people consider small, like, oh, it's just a little cough. We all learned from the pandemic, right? It's just a quick visit that can have massive, devastating consequences. Consequences for people we care about. And when you see boundaries violated like that, it forces you to step out of the fog. It forces you to realize that you cannot control how careless other people choose to be. Now, on some other ways, I could go there, but you are entirely responsible. We're responsible for what we tolerate, right? What we witness and what we protect. So when your boundaries are crossed, okay, or when the sifting season exposes the people around us, your soul is forced to choose between two entirely different operating systems. And I'm telling you, operating systems of this universal godly force is the first reaction mode. The reaction mode is driven by what You just want to call God out when you're in fear, your ego, or in pain, or constantly look for who can we blame? How can I make them feel exactly what I felt? How can I expose them? How can I expose them? That's reaction mode. They want to fight. It wants destruction on top of destruction. And the second comes is, okay, give me some truth mode operation from a place of spiritual maturity, okay? And ask entirely different questions while you at it. Please ask those different questions. What actually happened? What did I just witness? And what can I learn from this? Go deep. Because I chose truth mode and I challenge you to choose it too. Why? Because truth stands entirely on its own. Truth does not require exaggeration, okay? You don't need to yell. It doesn't need you to post receipts. And it doesn't need you to convince a jury of bystanders when you stand in the truth. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to. The truth defends you. When I look at the challenges of my own life, the betrayals and the boundaries that were broken, I lean on a specific character of God. You can call it whatever you want to, but El Gibbor, the mighty God, let me tell you how my prayers have changed. I don't call God's name, no name in vain to destroy enemies. I don't need God to strike down the people who cross lines or played games. Instead, let me tell you what I do. I call the Almighty God to strengthen my heart, to sharpen my discernment, and to protect my path, and to guide my restoration. Almighty God sees what I cannot see, and for truth, what I do not know. So therefore, I choose faith, like I said, over fear. I choose wisdom over resentment. I choose truth over bitterness. And let me tell you something. Your ultimate responsibility in this life is to honor what you have witnessed. Learn the lesson and pass it down. Teach your children. Teach your children. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm a little dry mouth. Teach your children that people that follow you are real valuable and they have accountability, compassion, and healthy boundaries, and also a deep respect for others. That is how the pain of your past stop being a cycle, a complete loop, and how your clarity finally becomes your legacy. Okay? So thank you. Thank you, everyone. It was a deep dive. And thank you for being patient, because cleaning your attic is protecting your peace. I'll see you next video.